Let us pray. Holy God, we ask that you send your Spirit to rest upon us, to fill our hearts, our minds, with the knowledge that all things are possible in you. Light our imaginations, our lives on fire, that we may help bring your light into the world. Amen. Now, you and I both know that if you're watching this video, you probably tend to agree with my theology, or at least tolerate it. That's who we've become. People who click one way or the other, depending on our own personal likes and dislikes. We don't challenge ourselves anymore. We don't let others challenge us. We're only friends on Facebook with people we agree with. We live in our own echo chamber, frequently no bigger than our own head. That said, I'll continue anyways. Let's do a little remedial Christianity here. Let's get back to the basics. Paul reminds us today in his letter to the Romans of Jesus' words to love your neighbor as yourself. To love your neighbor as yourself. In fact, Jesus, and again Paul reminds us, that this is the sum total of all the laws and the teachings of the prophets. May seem a little simplified, but nonetheless, it incorporates, it encapsulates all that has been taught before. Well, those words probably remind you of a lesson you learned as a child. The lesson that we refer to as the Golden Rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Treat others the way that you want to be treated. You might remember, if you're old enough, Paul Fulgrim's book, All I Really Need to Know, I learned in kindergarten. Remember the basic rules? Be nice, hold hands, be careful crossing the street, be kind. There were a few others, but I couldn't find my copy for the purposes of this sermon. But you get the point. This is pretty basic stuff. In fact, the idea of the Golden Rule, to do unto others as you would want them to do unto you, to treat others the way that you want to be treated, is in nearly every single major religion. And I say nearly every, not because I can find one that doesn't possess it, but I'm sure somebody watching this may try. Judaism. That which is hateful to you, do not do to your fellow. That is the entire law. All the rest is commentary. Islam. No one of you is a believer until he desires for his brother or sister that which he desires for himself. Buddhism. Hurt not others in ways that you yourself find hurtful. Hinduism. This is the sum of duty. Do taught unto others, which would cause you pain if done to you. Do not unto others, which would cause pain if done to you. We could even go back to the ancient philosophers. In Persia, Zoroaster, the character is best that doesn't do to others that isn't good for itself. 500 BC. Confucius, last one, also roughly 500 BC. What you do not want done to yourself, do not do to others. Like I said, it seems like really basic stuff. It seems to me that if something so basic as how we are to treat others finds itself into the faith traditions across time and across the globe, we might actually have gotten a little glimpse into the mind of God. This stuff is in the very DNA of our tradition and others. Basically, to sum that all up, be a decent human being. Be a decent human being. It just doesn't seem like it should even need to be said. But it just doesn't seem to be something that people really care about anymore. Somewhere, a very long time ago, we went astray. But at this time, in this place, at this moment, it seems worse than I can ever remember. On nearly a daily basis. We filmed this on Tuesday, and I read of another shooting yesterday. A man running from the police for violating the operation of vehicle laws. He was on his bicycle. Yes, he dropped a bundle of clothing, and in it fell out a gun. Probably why he was running. Upon seeing the gun on the ground, make sure you hear that part. Upon seeing the gun on the ground, some distance from the person who had dropped it, both police who were pursuing him opened fire and shot him 27 times. Now, I'm not condoning running from the police. I'm not condoning any altercation that may or may not have happened. I'm not condoning the carrying of illegal weapons. In fact, I don't even condone the carrying of legal weapons. But once he was unarmed, the police then chose to shoot him. People are walking the streets in this country fully armed, carrying weapons that were designed for military use. Civilians walking the streets, protecting property. When did property become more important than human life? When did a broken window or even a fire become more important than human life? Where did we go astray? In our tradition as Christians, we have always professed, but not always followed, that human life is sacred. Not from the moment of conception or whatever your definitions are, but all human life is sacred. There are so many in our tradition who seem to only worry about people before the moment of delivery, and then immediately give up on struggling children. The percentage of people, the percentage of kids who go hungry in this country every night should be the cause of such shame for us as Americans. The land of plenty, the land of abundance. When was the last time you even heard anybody talk about it? Where did we go wrong? You read and hear day in and day out of large Christian communities professing things that would have made Jesus, I don't know, that would have, that were so un-Christian. Where did we go wrong? When did we stop listening to the mind of God? When did we stop listening to our hearts? When did our need for power and control and fear of the other become the norm? Probably way back when. But like I said, here and now, in this moment, that's what we're talking about. You know, it's interesting. When I read the words, love your neighbor as yourself, treat others the way that you want to be treated, it dawns on me. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe self-hatred and self-loathing has become so rampant in this country that we think others should be treated that way because that's what we deserve. Maybe the fear of the other is the fear of ourselves. I don't know. But I think we need to figure something out here quick. People are dying in the streets. Children are dying of malnutrition. Their parents go to bed even hungrier than them because what little food they have, they give to the little ones. I don't know about you. I can't remember the last time I went to bed hungry. Now, I may complain about being hungry from time to time, but I've never really been hungry. I have enough. You probably have enough. Maybe it's time somebody else has enough. That's basically all that Jesus asks of us. To love ourselves, and then reflect that love back into the world. To care for ourselves, and then to reflect that caring back into the world, and not just to people who look like you and pray like you and eat like you and act like you and think like you, but to everyone. For we are all the beloved creatures of God.